Part 4 and the last one. NFP. A 1700 added a section on battery technologies, and I think it is the most operationally urgent thing in the entire document, because almost everything in it cuts against an instinct you already have. It starts by saying lithium-ion should be part of any incident size-up, not battery calls, any. And the presence of batteries should drive your risk management plan, your strategy, and your actions, not just add a note to them. Now, the first thing that should stop you. Portable gas meters may not detect thermal runaway effluent gases from batteries. Your meter reading clean is not evidence that the air is clean. And the instruction that follows it. If you have a suspected case of batteries and thermal runaway, and there is no indication of an active fire, stay outside the hazard zone. Because of the potential for explosion. No fire showing is not the reassurance it normally is. On this call, it is the warning. Next, battery effluent gases ignite readily, and they can increase the flammability of the smoke in a ventilation-limited fire. And here's the problem. While they do have their own look and smell, they can appear similar to, and be mistaken for, smoke from an ordinary room and contents fire. Which brings the one I want every truck company to hear. Sparking hand tools and powered saws used to cut ventilation holes can be ignition sources for unburned battery gases. Your saw, cutting the roof, is an ignition source. Where is the explosion risk highest? The driveway, doors, windows, other vent points. And specifically, the standard says, treat the area in front of the garage door as high risk for projectiles. That is where we stage, and where we stand to take a line off. Worth changing. Now, the recognition detail, and it is the best thing in the section. When batteries are in propagating thermal runaway inside a room, the gas components stratify, near the ceiling and near the floor, leaving a characteristic visible clear region in between. 2 layers with a gap, that is a tell you can actually see. And the second half of that tell inverts something you have believed your whole career. Because thermal runaway does not release as much thermal energy as a flaming fire, there is less thermally driven gas movement. So the gases may appear stagnant. Or slow-moving, which normally reads as less dangerous. And here it means an immediate flash fire or deflagration hazard. And even after it transitions to flaming, even after a deflagration, that layer of battery gas near the floor may still be there and still recognizable. It is a signature of a post-thermal runaway condition. Fire showing does not mean the battery hazard resolved itself. Strategy. An offensive strategy should be considered when size-up says occupants may be present and conditions allow you to execute a primary search. And then a limit I have not seen written anywhere else. The offensive strategy may only last as long as it takes to execute that primary search. And if you find lithium batteries after you're already committed, the standard frames it as a fork. Can the hazard be removed so interior operations continue? Or should this become defensive? Discovering them mid-operation is a decision point, not a footnote. On the defensive side, where there is significant impingement or runaway of battery devices creating explosive and toxic concerns, the standard elements apply. Identify what is savable and prioritize protecting exposures. The incident action plan. Plan for a long-duration incident. Plan for the resources, including water supply, to manage the fire, the exposures, and the safety concerns. And the for it names: occupant safety, environmental impact, firefighter exposure, including PPE and decontamination. It also says to request hazmat for technical assistance and to coordinate removal, cleanup, or disposal with a qualified contractor. Ask the responsible party or on-site subject matter expert for any emergency response plan that exists. And if you know the manufacturer, using their emergency response guide is required to support the plan. What actually works? Water. It is the best option for cooling and attempted extinguishment, and it may take copious amounts in and around the batteries and applied directly onto them to pull heat out. Apply from the most advantageous safe position and use the reach of the stream to keep your distance. What does not work? And this list matters because people reach for these. Dry chemical extinguishers are ineffective on batteries and thermal runaway. Carbon dioxide, ineffective. Foam and water additives have shown no improvement in extinguishment capability. Water has been shown to be the best extinguishing and cooling agent available, but be precise about what the water is doing. It may not prevent a battery from entering thermal runaway at all. What it does is cool the adjacent cells and reduce propagation. You are not putting it out. You are stopping it spreading cell to cell, and plan the supply accordingly. The standard says, expect these batteries to burn for hours and to have water available at every position that has tactical relevance to attack and cooling. Hours. Plural. Write that into the plan before you need it. The gases, flammable and toxic, not soluble in water, so you're not washing them out of the air. And the hydrogen that comes back out of the water is still flammable, which is why the standard states that full PPE and SCBA during any operation in and around lithium-ion battery fires is required. Not recommended. Required. And one more instrument you cannot lean on. It may be difficult to tell whether a pack or cell is damaged because the resulting heat signatures may not be differentiable on a thermal imager. The standard says outright that a TIC is not a reliable means of determining this. 2 tools down, the gas meter and the imager. Handling them. Full PPE and move them with non-conductive tools, a shovel with a wooden or fiberglass handle, or something else that does not put your gloved hands on it. And 2 absolute ones. Never put battery packs or cells in your pockets. And never get in an elevator with batteries or cells to bring them out of a building. If you take them outside, do it without putting another structure or bystanders in the path of fire and toxic gas. And if removal is not feasible at all, keep a charged hose line in place for the entirety of the incident, not until it looks done, the entirety. And when there is no public safety hazard, leave them on site in a supervised, safe area until they are documented and analyzed by investigators. And note the location and extent of involvement for the crews and investigators who come after you. That is how the next department learns something. Last piece, and it is the one you do on a Tuesday, not at 3 in the morning. For commercial battery energy storage, know the installations in your district. Engage your permitting agencies so you get told when one goes in. Get into the review of the installation, the hazard mitigation assessment, and the fire protection design. NFPA 855 is the reference. And be part of writing the emergency response plan. And residentially, push public education on the hazards, pull and review permits where ESS, solar, and EV chargers require them so you can locate hazards ahead of time. And stay observant about battery storage showing up in your residential coverage area. It is arriving in houses faster than it is arriving in anybody's pre-plans. Locked in, and this is the one to remember. Your gas meter may not see it. The gases can look like ordinary smoke. Slow-moving gas is the dangerous kind here, not the safe kind. Your saw is an ignition source, and the front of the garage door is the projectile zone. A thermal imager will not tell you if a pack is compromised. Water is the only thing that works. It will not stop runaway, and they will burn for hours. Never in your pocket. Never in an elevator. That closes the series. 4 parts on what actually changed in 1700. Search, strategy, water and air, and batteries. Go read it yourself. NFPA gives you free read-only access, and every section number is in the descriptions. If this was useful, the whole playlist is on the channel. Bring the irons.